Hello. I'm going to start off by reading this comment from The Guardian. It's actually about in UK hospitals now they're going to tax, or are they going to ban sugary drinks anyway, something to do with sugary drinks. And it's not really known whether it's for the patients or for the fat nurses, but it's a thing. The comment goes, people overeat, not because they are hungry, but to satisfy the brain's reward system. See why I'm reading it? Yeah. Take a liquid analogy. People do not consume alcohol because they are thirsty. They do so because it makes them feel a certain way. Problem is, and unlike alcohol, too many people do not understand the biological motivation for their food choices. The biological motivation for their food choices. Right, now, I'm not going to go into fatties. In this video, take a liquid analogy. People do not consume alcohol because they are thirsty. They do so because it makes them feel a certain way. Okay, yeah. You've got two things there that I think I might be going for. Is that you buy your bottle of booze because you know it's going to make you feel a certain way. And you start drinking and continue drinking your bottle of booze because it is making you feel a certain way. Okay. People overeat not because they are hungry, but to satisfy the brain's reward system. Again, it's the same, isn't it? It's the brain that wants rewarding, and they buy the cake because they know it'll reward the brain, and will eat the cake because the brain is being rewarded. Not that I think rewarded is the best wording, but we understand what is being said. Now, a quick apology for this, because I'm going to go back to what I've repeated. The 50-50 or the halfway house system. I could have done it one way. I'm doing it this way. The way I'm doing it is from yesterday's, stating that I think it's fair to say that there is more identification with the awareness of a thought than there is for the thought itself. I'll repeat that because it sounds a bit deep, but it's not at all. There is more identification with the awareness of a thought than there is for the arising of the thought itself. Now, I don't know how many people have done some sort of meditation. I do. You all have. You've basically, everyone always has had a quiet moment and thoughts started arising and you were aware of them. So you've all done meditation because that's all it's about. And when I say that's what it's all about, that's kind of what it's all about. But what the actual, deeper meaning of meditation is all about, or is it about, what is it all about? I think it's I don't know. Basically, I don't know, because it's done all over the world in different ways for different reasons. I don't know. Mindfulness, I'm going to have to look at it on the interwebs, aren't I? Look up YouTube video of mindfulness, and I'll look on the Californian type ones and come back and report what they think it's all about. But what I wanted to say here, I think, is that you're being quiet. No, let's put this in. Let's put this in. I think that everybody's had quiet moments. Everybody's realised that thoughts are arising, and everybody's understood that the thoughts that arise aren't exactly wonderful. Let's just put it that way, because that covers all thoughts. Right. So, I think a lot of people turn the radio on, turn the television on, go to a noisy place to get away from the fear, realization, whatever it might be, that came to them during the quiet episode. More easily said, people are scared witless of quiet, of their own thoughts, basically, because it makes them feel dodgy in some way. I'll let you lot expand on that. But I think there's a lot of that about. Right. Where am I going? Right. Back to the beginning. There is identification with the awareness. So when it comes to the thoughts arising, which can clearly be seen just arise, and can quite clearly be seen that either, it's just got to be logically deduced that you can't control them, because a thought only arises when you know it's only arisen when it's arisen. You can't do a thought process to make a thought arise, because the thought process is also thoughts that have arisen. So your thought process to make a particular thought arise, the thought process to do it, are just thoughts arising that you're aware of anyway. Okay. Now, we get to something like the question of, where do these thoughts come from? Whose are they? How about whose are they? Well, of course, they're mine. Because who else's would they be? And you go, well, yeah, okay. But what I think I want to say is that is a calculation. There is kind of a natural, dodgy word, natural identification with the awareness of the thought arising. But there is a calculation that the thought that has arisen is your thought. And it normally only comes under the calculation, which isn't a very deep calculation. There are deeper ones you can make, but it normally comes out as whose else's thought could it possibly be? But it's a calculation. It's worked out. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is that something like a baby cannot make that calculation. A rabbit, a dog, a cat cannot make that calculation. It's unlikely, isn't it? The dog, cat, rabbit, baby is very likely to just be firing on awareness of what it doesn't know are internal things arising, like thoughts, feelings and emotions. They're just arising. But it hasn't got the wherewithal to calculate that the things that are arising, the thoughts, feelings, emotions, must be mine as well, because whose else could they be? Because it hasn't either got the conceptual calculating possibilities or the language calculating possibilities to make that calculation. So the baby, the rabbit, the dog and the cat just goes with being awareness of things happening internally and things happening externally, with a very grey area probably between what is internal and what's external. There is probably really only awareness of things happening, and it needs a certain degree of education, even for the rabbit, to maybe put some sort of guiding line in between what might be internal and what might be external happenings. Does that make sense? What time have we got? Just over 10 minutes or so. I was going to go on to something else, but let's just leave it there, because that should just be a nice, easy Saturday morning, something to think about. The world of animals and the history of humanity and identification with awareness and the calculation necessary to work out what are internal thoughts, feelings, emotions and external happenings, and the spectrum of things that one is being aware of. Yeah, okay, let's leave it there. Oh, no, let's not leave it there. I was on the walls thing. I was looking for ceiling fans because I thought that moving the air around would be beneficial to everything. Make the fire more efficient and keep any damp off the walls, because there wouldn't be any stagnant areas of air if the fans are turning. Normally have a fan turning to push into the wood burning stove area to make it whoosh out, but you still got where in stagnant areas or behind the computer where it's normally warmer, or behind you normally get mildew areas, which I'm trying to avoid. Anyway, yeah, ceiling fans. I'll tell you about these because somebody should have a website, or probably there is a website that I don't know about. So the Westinghouse are good for making nuclear power stations in America and ceiling fans. UK Amazon, this particular one called a Bendon is £147. I go to French Amazon and it's €140, and I go to German Amazon and it's €115. So we've gone from £147 in UK to €115, which is £100. So 30% off if you go to German Amazon. I do this quite a lot. And what I'm saying is somebody should invent a cross Amazon price comparison thing, like my new earphones. I got those from German Amazon because it was 25+% cheaper. It's interesting because mostly you go to French Amazon and they're about 20% more expensive than UK Amazon but it's so very up and down, you have to check every time. If there was a site that just compared European Amazon prices, it would be an interesting thing. I do have the Camelizer, if anybody knows what a Camelizer is, but an actual comparison site would be a go, I think. That is what I calculate. Bye.